Another rainy one at Texans training camp, but DeMeco Ryans liked the work that his team put in. What are the big takeaways and observations from being there? Well, I'm bringing them to you right now. Welcome into the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Appreciate you here live on a Saturday. If you're catching us after the fact, the comment section, of course, is still active. If you're watching live, get live in the comment section. Super chats go to the front of the line. We'll get to anything and everything that you want to talk about. All your comments and questions, we will get to them over the course of this. A defensive duo set the tone early, and it led to a really rough day for a piece of the offense. And then Stefon Diggs and Derek Stingley had really big days. We'll talk about that, so much more. Brought to you by our friends at Platinum AC and Heating. My guy Dwayne will take care of you with any of your air conditioning needs. Let's get it started with that defensive duo that sets the tone here for the Texans today. It was Mario Edwards and Foley Fatukasi. And you're saying to yourself, I don't really know who the hell those guys are. Well, they're two free agent defensive tackles that the Texans brought in. Edwards has been in the league for nearly a decade. Fatukasi has played with the Jets and the Jaguars before he's ended up here in Houston. And those two big fellas set the tone for the day. It was, I think, the first, maybe the second play of team reps, and they just fired off the ball. They were right in CJ Stroud's face. They were shutting down runs. It was that first section of teams where those guys just sort of set the tone for the entirety of the day for the defensive line. And then when they walked off, it was Fatukasi and Edwards. They walked off, and they were pumped. They were hyped. They were giving each other these hard high fives. And these are two big fellas. They got all those, defensive linemen always got like those giant gloves on and stuff like that. I mean, you could hear the thumps as those two guys were high-fiving each other, getting excited, had some other defenders coming over and talking to them. And this is the first day, to me, that Fatukasi's really jumped off the page. He's the most expensive defensive tackle that the Texans have on their roster, but he really jumped off the page today. And yet again, Mario Edwards, over and over and over and over again, he's making a play in training camps. When you get a chance to watch them in the preseason, or if you get to go out to a practice, 91 for Fatukasi, 97 for Mario Edwards, and they set the tone on the defensive line. Didn't feel like the rushing attack could get anything going, in large part because that defensive line was taking care of business. And that kind of leads me and kind of follows into what sort of was the tone for part of the practice for me. This interior offensive line just did not have a very good day. I mean, from Kenyon Green to Shaq Mason to Juice Scruggs to any of the guys in there that aren't those three, second unit, third unit, whatever, rotating in or out. The defensive line for the Texans had a big day, and the interior offensive line they weren't doing their job very well. They weren't getting out on some of those outside things where sometimes the guards out there leading the charge. They weren't holding up on the interior. I remember early on, Kenyon Green, I mean, he went to go kind of post up one of the defensive linemen, and he just kind of kept getting walked back. Fatukasi was able to kind of dart through things. He actually stepped on CJ Stroud's foot at one point and kind of held Stroud like ouch, my foot, kind of that kind of hobble. You've done that before, where you stub your toe on the coffee table or the edge of the couch, and you're like, oh, ouch, my foot, and you're kind of hopping around on one foot. Stroud did that for about 20 seconds or so. He's back in there, ran the play. He didn't miss any time, but man, it didn't matter if it was Fatukasi or Edwards. Marcus Harris got in there. Khalil Davis got in there. I saw Kurt Heinisch making a stop. And because they were occupying so much along the offensive line, it really felt like the linebackers were able to go out there and get some work done. I mean, this rushing attack got nowhere today. I mean, Dameon Pierce, Jawar Jordan, British Brooks, Daria Gumbawale, nothing. From the outside to inside runs to zones to power, whatever. It didn't feel like anything clicked at all from a rushing game offense when they were going inside. They had a couple of nice moments outside, but from the inside, interior offensive line, because Fatukasi and Edwards set the tone for the day, with the way they operated early on, that interior offensive line just never really caught back up. And they've had some actually pretty darn good moments over the course of training camp, the interior O-line has, but this was not one of them. This was not one of the days where the interior offensive line is going to like going back and watching film. Now, as I talk about the interior offensive line, I will say I did not notice Danielle Hunter hardly at all working against Titus Howard, so really good day for Titus Howard. And then Will Anderson got the day off. And I'll give my guy Seth Payne credit for this because the way Anderson was dressed, he had like the rain slicker on, and then he had a beanie on, and he kind of looked like a devilish fisherman. It's kind of the way Seth explained it. Like if the Gorton's fisherman on the, he's got the yellow jacket. Just imagine Will Anderson's in a black jacket, and he had kind of the hat that looked like the fisherman. He looked like a deadliest catch guy is what he looked like. Seth and I talked about that for a few minutes. So no Will Anderson. So you saw Derek Barnett and Jerry Hughes. And let me tell you, when it's not Will Anderson or Danielle Hunter out there giving him a hard time, Blake Fisher looks pretty darn good. I mean, he had some nice moments against Derek Barnett. He was firing off the ball, getting outside, helping with the rush game, some of those outside plays that did work maybe a little bit more than some of the inside ones. But overall, just a very day from the interior offensive line, in large part because the defensive tackles set the tone for the day and got things going. So Jerry Hughes at one point have a nice rush off the edge. McTelvin Agam was in on a play. Marcus Harris, I mentioned him, was in on a play. So the interior of that defensive line, and with the help of some of those ends helping out in the run games and things like that, had a pretty solid day. So that's the down and dirty, the trenches. We'll have some fun here with the next portions of the conversation where we talk about Kamari Lassiter, Stefon Diggs, Derek Stingley, and so much more. But I want to tell you about my friends over at Platinum AC and Heating. My guy Dwayne will take care of you when it comes to anything to do with your AC. Repairs, replacements, a tune-up, a line flush, anything and everything to do with air conditioning is taken care of by Platinum AC and Heating, and you're going to get the best price and the best services in town, okay? Dwayne's got the best prices and the best service in town, 5-star rated by the Better Business Bureau, 5-star rated on Google and Yelp. Call him, 832-777-3683. Whatever your AC need is, they can handle it. Do you own a business and you have all of the extras that come with your business HVAC? They can do that. Do you own a bunch of residential properties? They can handle that. They can do it all. Give them a call today. And Dwayne's a Texans fan just like you. He wants to talk a little ball with you after he takes care of your AC situation. So don't miss out. Platinum AC and Heating. We appreciate them sponsoring this video. Let's talk about Diggs and Lassiter. I'll give you my footage here that I was able to shoot at training camp and break it down here between the vet and the young guy. Diggs gets a nice release. Lassiter takes a near perfect throw to get it for Stefon Diggs to come down with it. I mean, watch this again, man. Look at that. Look, he is step for step with him. He's step for step with him. Diggs gets just a little bit of separation, but you can see Lassiter's arms are still there. They're doing a little hand fighting there. And boom, perfect catch. This guy gets in the way, but over the shoulder, perfect catch right in there. Here's what I love about this. Kamari Lassiter right there with Stefon Diggs the whole way through. He is sticky. You hear D'Amico Ryans and Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, talk about it a lot. They want sticky guys. They want guys that are there to be able to make a play when they see the ball. And you can watch that clip again. And Lassiter turns around earlier than a lot of guys do, and he's right there with Diggs. And Lassiter's done this with Nico Collins. He's done this with Tank Dell, and he's done it with Stefon Diggs. And look, that's a really good throw and a really good catch to beat Kamari Lassiter. If that's what opposing teams have to do to beat Kamari Lassiter, so be it. Go out there and try to make the perfect throw every time and see how it goes. But he has been really, really impressive in training camp. Kamari Lassiter has. He's clear-cut, going to start opposite Derek Stingley unless something awful happens in the next few weeks of training camp. I don't even know that he's going to play that much in the Hall of Fame game because he's so close to being a starter, but he's been as impressive as he could have been here in training camp so far. And even though that's a loss on his record, that's not like a knockout by Derek Stingley, okay? That's one of those where it's like a judge's decision and maybe a split decision because, again, felt like it needed a perfect throw from C.J. Stroud to beat Kamari Lassiter on that. Now, Diggs and Lassiter is the topic that I put up here, but Stefon Diggs was just a monstrous again, showcasing why, yet again, he's one of the best players on the field. See you later, Chris Boyd, even with the pass interference. Oh, one-handed, no problem. Come down with it anyway. Pumped up, fired up with the crowd. Man, Stefon Diggs just continues to be one of the best players on the field. He's the best offensive player in training camp so far. And the only guy that's close to him from a defensive perspective is Derek Stingley or Will Anderson. Diggs has been as good as you could have hoped. And then the way his teammates talk about him is just incredible and gets you so excited for the potential of this guy as wide receiver contributor in 2024. And the more you watch in training camp, if it looks this good in the regular season, I'm going to have a hard time saying, hey, you got to move on. Don't sign Stefon Diggs when this is all said and done. Look, you got the rookie quarterback contract. Maybe you spend a little bit of that money. So Stefon Diggs, really the only guy that hangs with him when he's out there is Derek Stingley. And Stingley had a really nice day. Let's take it to the tape. This one from Derek Silvas. This is an interception that Derek Stingley had in the practice camp today. And you'll see how easy he makes this look. Just watch Stingley on this. Just, read it like a book. Tank Dell didn't have a chance to even get close to it. Stingley read it like a book. Let's watch it one more time. That's C.J. Stroud. It's not like Davis Mills out there slinging the rock around. But, look, he just reads the snot out of it. Look, it's a little mess around CJ's feet, so I'm not going to be too critical. You got guys on the ground. There's maybe I don't want to say pressure, but there's certainly going to be pressure if he doesn't make a quick decision. And Stingley plants and goes. Like the ball is barely out of C.J. Stroud's hands, and he knows where he's headed. Tank Dell doesn't have a chance there. Boom, Derek Stingley with the interception. Stingley had a near interception in some of the one-on-one work as well. In fact, the only person I saw beat Derek Stingley on Saturday was John Mechie. John Mechie actually had a really nice rep against Derek Stingley in one-on-ones. Now it's one-on-ones, so take that for what it's worth. The offense is supposed to win one-on-ones. But Stingley's been fantastic. He's the best defensive player on any given day, trading off with Will Anderson, who just teleports to the quarterback sometimes. And then you start to think about, hey, okay, let's put Will Anderson together with Danielle Hunter, with these linebackers that have shown some coverage, with Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. And you start to get really excited about what the defense can do and bring to the table. But more and more Derek Stingley goodness each and every day. And if he just continues to put all of this together, making the hard stuff look easy, the play recognition, and this is a guy, think about it, hasn't played as much football as some of the other guys that are at cornerback because of the injuries. So the more input Stingley gets, the better the output's going to be. All you're really sitting here waiting for on Derek Stingley is him to be healthy. And if he's healthy for 17 games, that's an all-pro cornerback and maybe even a first-team all-pro cornerback as well. So Derek Stingley, been fantastic in camp. The rain and the nastiness didn't change any of that. So that was another dominant day from Derek Stingley, with the exception of that one John Mechie rep, where Mechie got himself a win against Derek Stingley in one-on-one. So fantastic yet again. That's day 8 observations. You can read everything from the observations at Houston Football. I got the link in the description down below. After every training camp practice, I do 11 observations and then some about that training camp practice. Write it all down right there at Houston Football. It goes right to your email. Just boop, right there in your email. You can read it in your email. You can read it online at Houston Football or houfootball.com, or you can read it in the Substack app as well. But right there in your email, everything that you need to know. All right. Question time, comment time, as soon as I finish telling you one more time about Platinum AC and heating. Do you know that sometimes your air conditioner just needs a little tune-up to run smoother, run less, not work as hard and save you money? Yeah. How about if you paid less and your air was colder? That's potentially what could happen with your little summer tune-up here for Platinum AC and Heating. And when the weather's not super kill you hot outside, this is the perfect time to get your AC worked on. So give Dwayne a call, 832-777-3683, 832-777-3683. Put his number in your phone because when you need an AC guy, you need the AC guy, and that's my guy Dwayne at Platinum AC and Heating. Your comments, questions, joys, and concerns, we will rapid fire through them as we went all the way through before getting to any comments. So we've got lots of comments, but we will get to them all. So, Omni, good to see you. Chase, Joe, HC, Jake, thank you. Patty says, Stoots always positive, optimistic, voice of reason. I mean, look, there's not any reason to be pessimistic just yet. Haven't been any reasons for pessimism. Nice to see you, Cody. I have a feeling our DT unit's going to be better than what everybody thought. That's certainly where I'm landing, is they're going to be better than expected, and the whole the sum of the parts could be better than the whole, or whatever the phrase is. They're just going to be better than I expected them to be at defensive tackle. Josh Phillip asks, Stoots, any chance Ben Skoranek makes the squad? Seems like he's been doing pretty well and embraces Swarm. Absolutely. I mean, I can tell you that he's very close to being on the wide receiver 53-man, just because he plays so much special teams, and he's had some really nice receiver reps in the past couple of days, and he's like a gremlin. Like, if you get him wet, like his energy's been through the roof in the rain the past 2 days. You remember the old movie Gremlins? If you get a gremlin wet, all the bad stuff happens. You get Ben Skoranek wet, and he turns into a little monster. So Skoranek's been fantastic. Everyone, please watch out for CJ's feet. Yeah. Best D-line in the league. I mean, they're going to have one of the best pass rush duos. I don't know about the totality of it, but it's going to be pretty darn good. Seems like DTs are making waves this year more than last year. Maybe. Rob must be on his lunch break. Appreciate you checking in. Pierce's interview today was fire. Best backup running back in the league. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Damian Pierce tomorrow here on the channel. Good to see Marcus Harris continuing to have an impact. Yep. Cody, nice try on the question about the fight to Schultz. Just football stuff. I wish he had a little bit more. You and me both. Let's see. Rob, check it out. Pierce Schultz and that Tommy Townsend. Stoots providing great questions always. Thank you, man. Thank you. Patty says, come preseason, gloves will come off. Texans defense will be off the chart. Man, I am pumped to watch this defense play, especially if they're healthy. Jimmy Ward had a nice pass breakup today, reading some things. Petrie's had a couple of moments and hadn't looked great in the slot. Hadn't looked bad in the slot, but he's kind of up and down figuring that thing out, but they still put him out there as a regular safety. And these linebackers, man, taking care of some business. Josh asks, they're about to be good for the next 10 years? Sure hope so. Fisher will be meaningful snaps in the Hall of Fame game. Yeah, you might need to get him some game reps, get him used to game speed, whoever's out there with the Bears, especially if the Bears might play, some of their guys. Getting him in there against Montez Sweat, if you can get him up, get that matchup, maybe that's worth putting him out there. Christopher says, what do you think about signing Simmons? I mean, I don't know they're going to do it because, I did this a video about this. The timing just doesn't feel right. And if they really wanted him, they have him already. Jalen Petrie playing nickel corner. Will that open the safety spot for the Texans to sign Simmons? I mean, in theory, yes, but that's not what they're doing right now, and that's not what they're going to do in the near future. Eric Murray's the guy that gets in there when Petrie walks down to nickel. Crazy to think how Fisher would have been a projected first rounder if he stayed at Notre Dame for a year. Yeah, I mean, if he gets some trial by fire, learning on the job type stuff this year, I mean, he could be a really nice player by the end of this year heading into next year. I'll say this, I never want his ass on the field because that would mean Tunsil or Howard's not playing. Sounds like Green's been struggling all week, maybe Scruggs a little bit too. I wouldn't say struggling, but they've had some bad moments. Think CJ gets a day off Monday to take care of the foot? No, he was fine the rest of practice. I'd be shocked if he's not out there. I doubt we go after Simmons. Left to say he gets hurt. Yep. A little welcome to the league for the locksmith, certainly. Fisher, the Tunsil replacement year or two. Yeah, whichever tackle you want to move on from. You want to move on from Tunsil. You want to move on from Titus Howard. Whichever one you want to move on from, then Fisher's there to take care of the business there. Lassiter can stick with wide receiver there. That was just a perfect throw and catch. Absolutely. Sticky and swarmy. Sounds like a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Chiefs fans are here. Appreciate you. Texans swarm. Let's see here. Getting past that. All right. If Diggs shows out this season like he has in camp, you think they throw everything in the sink to bring him back? I mean, no, they'll be reasonable with the money, and I would hope that he'd be reasonable about the level of success. But also, it's worth noting, if he hits free agency after a really good season, everybody and their mom will be trying to sign him. Good to see you, Mr. Bo, on top. Doing fantastic. Stingley must be the first Texan to get 6 interceptions in a season since Quentin Debs. He's got a chance, man. I thought he was going to have 6 when he came back from the injury last year because that Denver game got things going so well. But I would be interested to know if there's some odds out there for Stingley's interceptions, because I'd probably take the over. Stoots, what position did you play back in the day? I'm getting center vibes. I only played one spring of football. Did spring football when I was when I was a freshman in high school, and they had me play defensive end and defensive tackle, and I was awful. I didn't know what I was doing. It's the first time I ever played football. When I tried to play football when I was like 6 or 7 roughly, and I was huge. I was a giant child. I mean, my mom had to bring my birth certificate to Little League because they thought I was 15 years old when I was 10. I was a big kid. And so when I was 6 or 7, they wanted me to play peewee with like the 11 and 12-year-olds. And my mom was like, no. And so I didn't get to go back and play football anymore. I wrestled in high school though. So, still stayed active. I wrestled in high school. Mr. Bo on the top sent his reporter, his daughter, to give him the scoop. I mean, look, I really like the Aziz signing. It's probably the signing we don't talk about enough. I mean, he just kind of stalks the offense like a lion. He just kind of it's like the king of the jungle waiting to pounce, and then boom, next thing you know, Aziz Al-Shire's made to play. Engineer, is Stroud good? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. My dopamine levels shoot up whenever Stoots goes live. Best out there. Thank you, man. Thank you. These Chiefs fans, man, I appreciate you, I guess. I'm about to hit up Dwayne for the AC checkup just to talk some Texans. Yeah, hey, Dwayne, love to come out, check up on the AC, talk some Texans with you. DeRhino, good to see you. It's our last week without football for months. Yeah, that's a good point, DeRhino. We fire it up here first week of August, and then we ride it all the way through February, basically. Yeah, I would say he's pretty well locked in. Hall of Fame game, 5 days away. 5 days away. I want to know about the DTs and running backs. Should I be worried about these positions? No, because Joe Mixon hasn't been on the field just yet. You don't have Laramie Tunsil at left tackle yet. And the defensive tackles, okay, they're having some nice moments, but Joe Mixon will help that a little bit, and just getting some more cohesiveness with the offense overall as the way they're supposed to be executed will help with that as well. So I'm not worried about the interior offensive line. Like, they got to play together a little bit more, and they got to have some better performances, but one down day doesn't define anybody in training camp. You saying Will had flashed more than Hunter? Yeah, Will has been more noticeable than Danielle Hunter in training camp, but they've both been really good. Derek Barnett took his reps. Are you going to the Hall of Fame game? What about the practices at Caserio's high school? So I'm not going to the Hall of Fame game, and I'm not going for Andre's speech. I'm going to take that in from the headquarters here, the HQ, which is the way me talking about my desk. And then I will be in Cleveland for the Cleveland practices with Landry Locker. So that will be fun. I will enjoy that. You think Bullock plus 10 or 25 pounds, the same build and prototype as Simmons? I mean, that's lofty. Simmons is one of the best safeties in football for the past few seasons. So, and let's get him on the field and let's get him on the field and have a couple of games under our belt before we talk about who he can be. How injury prone is Stingley? Seems like he's been healthy for a while now. I mean, Derek Stingley's had 4 seasons in a row of football, 2 in college, 2 in the pros, drastically affected by injury. It ended his rookie season. It started, they catered a good portion of his second season in the league. The last 2 years at LSU were drastically affected by injury. So, he's been healthy since he got back last year, but he's got to stay healthy for a season. Got to. Good to see you, Devin. Appreciate you jumping in. Besides CJ Stroud, what other player would impact our season if we were to be injured? Not trying to be a pessimist, but football and injuries do happen. Hernan, what are we doing here? Obviously, if Mixon went down, the running back room would drop off big time. If Anderson or Hunter went down, that would, dump down your overall potential from that standpoint on the defensive line. Stoots and Locker wrestling match if Texans win the Super Bowl. I think in like a fight, just because Landry's been in more fights, he'd probably beat me. He's also got the reach because he's 6'7", looks like Gumby. So he'd beat me up in a fight. In just an actual wrestling match, I'd pin him in the first round. Okay, there's no chance he'd ever step out there, though. I don't think we'd ever fight each other either, but, crazier things have happened. Somebody wants to donate enough money to charity, I guess we'd box. High school wrestling is literally the best sport. I'll let you know a little secret here. I had a perfect season my first year wrestling. A perfect season. Unblemished. Perfect season as a freshman. I went 0-16. I did not get one win in 16 straight matches my freshman season. It sucked. I was 190 pounds wrestling 215, and those guys kicked my ass for an entire year. Brandon says Aziz is going to be there to make all the plays. The D-line's too aggressive and get tricked by the shot plays. Say goodbye to screens and sweeps. Yeah, that's another thing, too. The D-line muddied some stuff up for the offensive line and let the linebackers get in there and make some plays in training camp today. So that was another thing, too. The D-line set the tone, got the O-line kind of out of the equation, and then it was a lot of linebackers and running backs, finishing up plays. How did Jaws look today? Nobody looked good running the ball today. Nobody did. I mean, he kind of was trying to power through a couple of small spots, but nobody looked good running the ball today. Andrew Turlington's going to be in Canton to watch Andre get in the Hall of Fame. That's going to be awesome, man. Get a lot of Texans fans up there, so you'll be able to hang out with a bunch of Texans fans. Haven't heard much about Jamal Hill and Solomon Byrd. How are they looking in camp? Nothing really to report. Jamal Hill kind of looks slow sometimes to me, but I don't know if that's because I'm kind of expecting a little bit more of a safety speed. But he doesn't look like a safety anymore. I mean, if he played safety, he'd be one of the fattest safeties ever. Not to say that he looks fat, but he doesn't look like a safety anymore. But not much to report from Hill. And then Byrd, he had a nice rep early in training camp. I haven't seen much from him since then. The D-line is way underrated. D'Amico grabbed all the right pieces for that room. I hope you're right. It'd be nice if it was. I know the Tunsil's not practicing, but how is the O-line looking overall? Are they holding and pass pro and opening lanes in the run game? They've had some rough days, and today wasn't a banner day by any means, but they've had enough moments where Stroud has been, clean and been able to go out there and try to make a play. So they need some cohesion. They definitely need Tunsil there. I mean, he's going to lock down a whole portion of the line when he gets out there. That's the hope, at least. Has Henry To'o shown any improvement? To'o had a sack today, darted through the offensive line. Everybody was kind of accounted for, and To'o was in there, for a sack. I think he's looked pretty darn good. Compared to last year, I'm not sure, but I think he's looked pretty darn good in training camp so far. Belair, Detrey, Baby 3. Boy, what a mouthful. What up, Stoots? I'm late, but the Louisville running back, how's he looking? That's Gerard Jordan, rookie running back Gerard Jordan, late round pick by the Texans in the draft this past year. Didn't have a great day today. Is coming off of he had a great week earlier this week on Wednesday. He had a really nice day on Wednesday. So that was the best day for Gerard Jordan so far in training camp. Texans Tangent says wrestling match with Caserio as the ref. Let's see. Caserio is an Ohio guy. He's probably come across some like high school amateur wrestling type stuff. Yeah, he's probably come across some of that. I could see him as a ref. Maybe. You think it's better they have wet practices versus a great defense than hot and dry practices and a soft defense? I mean, I'd rather the defense look good because I know the offense has big time potential. I'd rather the defense look good, whatever the temperature situation. Okay, good question. How's Okudah and Henderson doing? Okudah's had a couple of nice moments. He's got a lot of juice. When stuff starts going his way, he gets very excited. Henderson didn't practice again today. He's very much behind Okudah when it comes to making the team. I'd even tell you Henderson's behind Mike Ford when it comes to making this team. So, Henderson, I don't have much to report from him because he hasn't been practicing. And Okudah, he's had a couple of nice moments. He had a better past few days of camp than start to camp. That's the way I would say it about Okudah. Guys that didn't practice today, Joe Mixon, but he worked out on the side. Andrew Beck, but he worked out on the side. No Laramie Tunsil, no Will Anderson, no Christian Harris. So those are your non-practicers that I can remember off the top of my head. Alejandro Mendoza Pacheco. I've been seeing there's a lot of interceptions. That more of a product of the secondary being good. Yeah, I mean, look, Stingley had an interception. They had a pick yesterday. I mean, it's not a lot. A lot is probably a poor mischaracterization of interceptions. There have been some interceptions, and there have been some guys where, it hits them in the damn hands and they don't come up with it, like Jake Hansen today. But it's not, a lot is probably a mischaracterization of the amount of times the quarterback has thrown it to the defense for the Texans in training camp. Josh Phillip says, Cody, will you please let us know the next time you're on a show like Kicking It with Kunkel? Great stuff. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching Kicking It with Kunkel. It's good hanging out with my buddy Will Kunkel. He's all pumped and excited about the Zach Bryan concert coming to town. Love it when a country guy has no reason to be sad, but all he does is do sad songs or like, poetry as lyrics or something like that. Don't get me wrong. Zach Bryan's got some good songs, but we could use a few more bangers, Zach. Okay. Would it kill you to talk about drinking and hanging out a little bit? But yeah, I mean, I have a hunch that DJ Bianime and myself will be on Kicking It with Kunkel again before the regular season finishes up. Caserio versus Mike Tyson. Who's the greatest special referee of all time? So how would the contract work if Henderson ends up not making the team? Good question. Let me look it up real quick. Henderson. I guess probably CJ Henderson. I don't remember him getting paid that much. Let's see what his current contract is. So he signed a 1-year, $2 million deal with a $300,000 signing bonus and $500,000 guaranteed. So, I mean, they owe him. I mean, they've already paid him the $300,000, so they owe him a $500,000 if he doesn't make the team. So $500,000. You move on. You keep it going if you don't want to keep him. Andrew DeLeo, Andrew. What up, Stoots? Okay, good to see you, Andrew. Hope I didn't mess your name up too bad. NMD, what does Lon Johnson look like he's improved? Do you think he'll be a contributor? He's not stood out much, not in coverage or special teams. He does have he's a big fan of extracurriculars, so, guys running by with the ball and he's punching it out of the guy's arms and stuff like that. But nothing really to note from Lonnie Johnson's time with the Texans so far. Andrew asks, random, but have you seen anything from Miles Bryant? Also, you think we could have 5 safeties on the 53 with Petrie playing some nickel? Yeah, it certainly lends itself, if Petrie's going to play a little bit more nickel, it lends itself to the 5 safeties. I believe I allotted for 5 safeties in my roster projection initially. I think I allotted for Kalen Bullock, in addition to Petrie, Ward, Stewart, and Murray. Which, by the way, MJ Stewart had a couple of really nice plays, and he just kind of has like a play of practice where he does a really good job. So, MJ Stewart is a backup, so it is a nice player. Yeah, 5 safeties. I sort of allotted for that in my first way too early projection. Hernan says, I love the wheelhouse. You guys were hilarious. Thank you. We had a lot of fun on that show. Besides Lassiter and Fisher, which rookie is standing out? Also, which undrafted rookie will make the team? Besides Lassiter and Fisher, which rookie is standing out? Well, Cade Stover's had some nice plays. He had a really nice catch in traffic with like some contact. He had to kind of go up for it. Mills hit him with a really nice pass. So he's a guy that's had some standout moments. Marcus Harris. Marcus Harris is a guy that has had some nice moments. Defensive tackle from Auburn that the Texans drafted in the 7th round. So Harris has had some nice moments. Has gotten in there, caused some pressure, had some sacks. And then undrafted guy that could make the team. They don't have a lot of them. I guess I would tell you British Brooks is kind of like the bruiser running back, but I have a hard time seeing how he makes it over Jawar Jordan, but he'd probably be the closest. Haven't heard much about Settle this week. Haven't had much to report from Settle. He's a big fella. But when Edwards and Fadakasi are taking care of their business, less time for Settle. But he's a part of that defensive line having a good day. Rob, appreciate you stopping by. Devin says, I only see Simmons coming if there's a significant injury at safety or they're not happy with Petrie's play when it comes to live reps. Yeah, look, if they feel like Petrie in the next few weeks doesn't kind of, fit what they want, maybe they bring in Simmons. I just don't, again, the timing just doesn't fit for me with Simmons. I don't see it. I don't feel it right now. British Brooks is like a battering ram. Yeah, British Brooks. Yeah, I would tell you that British Brooks is the undrafted free agent that has the best chance. They don't have that many undrafted guys still hanging around. They got Max Tooley. I would tell you he's not making it with the way that Hansen and To'o are playing at linebacker. Tariq Barnes, he's fine. They don't really have that many undrafted guys. Yankee's not making it. Jaden Yankee, he's not making it. So, practice squad, a lot of guys. Tooley and Yankee and Brooks and so on. But, at 53, it might be tough for an undrafted guy to make it. I haven't heard much about Danico Autry, the Texans defensive lineman that they signed from the Titans in the offseason. How's he looking? He had a nice play the other day, but he has not shown up a ton or nearly as much as I expected him to show up. He was kind of sold to me as like a big-time game changer, and I haven't quite seen it from him just yet. So that D-line don't look so bad. No, it looks good. It looked really good today. It looked really good. Andrew asked, what position do you think is a major need when it comes to depth? I would still like to see some cornerback depth just because if you have to put Mike Ford out there as a cornerback, it's not looked great. He's had a couple of moments, but it's more bad than good at cornerback. But he's on the team for special teams ace purposes. But Lassiter and then Okudah playing a little bit. They're kind of good at corner. Maybe, running back. If there was a running back that was a bit more established than any of the guys they have behind Joe Mixon, that'd kind of be where I would say. If Simmons is upgraded overall, our safeties wouldn't be a disservice to not bring him in. That's kind of the thought process from a lot of people, sure. But I laid it out in the video last week. Like the timing's not right for Simmons to come in if he doesn't want to do training camp. It's just starting. If the Texans really wanted him or thought he was that much better, they would have brought him in. And I just don't know that it sends the right message to the team at this portion of training camp. Now you're a few weeks in. You want to bring Simmons in because it ain't working out for somebody. Be my guest, but I just don't know that it's the right approach to bring him in right now. Every time I see Mike Ford in a clip, he's getting cooked. He gets clipped a lot. Is Dez king on the field with the 3 safety look? No, he's not. A lot of times they put 3 linebackers out there with the safeties. What's up with Bullock? I mean, he doesn't stand out. He doesn't jump off the page. He got some first team reps the other day, but there's not a lot to report from him. Trust me, when I'm looking for 41 to go out there and do something, I just don't. The ball doesn't get around him very often, which sometimes means he's doing his job. I think the Texans would be the one team Simmons might take a pay cut to join. I mean, even so, again, if he doesn't want to do training camp, then they're not signing him anytime soon. That's the thing about Simmons is like the signing's not coming down anytime soon. If Petrie plays nickel, then is King being put to the side? Kind of, sort of, but when Petrie's on the field as a safety and King's on the field as a nickel, I mean, he's playing nickel. So, and Desmond King can help on special teams, returns and coverage. So there's a role for both of them playing nickel, maybe matchups or this or that, but I'm not super worried about putting both of them on the field at the same time. There's certainly ways you can figure that out and get that get it so that both those guys get reps and opportunities. Okay, let's do this here. If I had to pick the wide receiver room today, 8 training camp practices in the book. If I had to pick the wide receiver room today, Diggs, Collins, Dell, Brown. Okay, those are the 4. Mechie, Skoranek. If I had to pick the wide receiver room today, Diggs, Collins, Dell, Brown, Mechie, Skoranek. 7 would be Steven Sims. Steven Sims just has moments where it ends up not looking good. I mean, he just has moments where it just ends up not looking good. Skoranek makes the team in this scenario because he plays a lot of special teams. Mechie doesn't have as much special teams or have as much special teams experience. So Skoranek and Mechie, the final 2 guys in the door. Xavier Hutchinson's had a nice moment here or there, but can he do as much as Skoranek? No. I mean, in the past couple of days, Skoranek's had more catches and more moments standing out than Hutchinson. So it's a fierce fight to figure out 5 and 6 in that wide receiver room. But if I had to go today, Diggs, Collins, Dell, Brown, Mechie, Skoranek. And maybe Mechie in this scenario making it kind of screws somebody else because Skoranek can play everything on special teams. Punt return, kickoff coverage, and kickoff return. Punt return, punt coverage, kickoff return, kick coverage. He can play it all. So Mechie not having as much special teams experience, maybe it doesn't screw John Mechie, maybe it screws somebody else because they keep a guy like Skoranek and they can do it all. Texans Tangent says, I think they'll keep 7. I don't think they have enough room for that. Like I don't think there's a I mean, they're already pressed for, do you keep 4 ends or 5 ends? Do you keep 4 defensive tackles or 5 defensive tackles? Do you keep 5 linebackers or 6 linebackers or 4 linebackers? How many corners do you keep? Like, there's not enough room for 7. There's not enough room for 7 wide receivers. And you can't use them that much. Like, I know they like to rotate receivers, but they're not putting that many guys in, So that's my wide receiver power rankings through 8 practices. Off day tomorrow, practice number 9 on Monday. So they'll do 9 and 10, off day Wednesday, Hall of Fame game Thursday, off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Cleveland, Ohio for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that's the Texans' schedule for the next little bit. Your schedule, if you need some air conditioning help, should involve Platinum AC and heating. Decades of experience handling air conditioning. I was talking to Dwayne yesterday on the phone. He was wrapping up a late Friday call to someone's house to check out their AC. Look, the weather's not kill you hot right now. This is the perfect time to make sure your AC is running. A little tune-up, a little checkup from the 5-star rated by the Better Business Bureau, Platinum AC and Heating. It could save you money. That's the big thing. If your air conditioner doesn't work as hard, your air could then be colder and blowing colder than it has been. What more could you ask for? From repairs to replacements to tune-ups, Platinum AC and Heating is the best. They've got the best service in town. They've got the best prices in town. So what does that mean? You're going to stay nice and cool, and it's not going to cost you any of your cold, hard cash to do it, all right? You're going to get taken care of by the best at the best price when you visit with Platinum AC and Heating. And my guy, Dwayne, put his number in your phone, 832-777-3683. Dwayne will shoot you straight on your AC. He will always try to repair before the replace. And if you have to replace, again, best service, best prices in town, Platinum AC and Heating. Appreciate them for sponsoring this video. Who's filling in for Christian Harris? It's a lot of Jake Hansen. And Jake Hansen has had a really nice camp. He forced a fumble today. I don't remember who the ball carrier was, but Hansen met him over at the sideline and knocked the ball out before the player got out of bounds. And then, he dove on it. But Jake Hansen's had a really nice training camp. And I tell you, Hansen, To'o, Harris, Azeez Al-Shire, Neville Hewitt, there's 5 linebackers that I'd put on the team if I was the Houston Texans, and then just kind of figure out the linebacker management elsewhere. Do you feel better or worse about the rookie class since the draft? I feel a little bit better because Lassiter is really good so far compared to the expectations. So I would tell you that I feel better. And then Fisher, I see why he's here, As Pierce locked down running back 2, seems like reporting on him is mixed. I would tell you nobody has locked down running back anything besides Joe Mixon as running back 1. So it would totally be up for grabs amongst everybody for 2, 3, and 4 in the running back room. Toxic Monkey. What a name. Don't know if it's been addressed, but how the new kickoff return drill looked. Have you seen much of it? Who's the main returner? They don't have a main returner because they've used so many different guys. And I would tell you that there's a lot of emphasis on making sure the coverage is well executed and the blocking's well executed. Because you can probably overcome, first down from the 22. As a defense, you can't overcome, first down from the 40, first down from the 38. So a lot of emphasis on the coverage and taking care of the kickoffs. And the Hall of Fame game is going to be big for figuring out a little bit more about that. Texans Tangent says, thank you for the Saturday stuff. You're welcome for the Saturday stuff. It's always fun talking about the Texans. Danny says, I feel like we keep Woods because of what we are paying him and the vet experience. We don't have to get rid of him yet. And look, if some team had a wide receiver injury in the next couple of weeks and you could squeeze a 7 out of them or a 6 out of them for Robert Woods, why not? Why not? They don't have to cut anybody right now. You don't have to cut anybody till the end of training camp. So you don't need the money to make any moves. They've got salary cap space if they need to go do something. So they don't have to do anything with Robert Woods right now. What are they paying Robert Woods? Good question. If I could type, it'd be easier to tell you. So they save about $5 million, a little under $5 million if they cut Robert Woods. Do they need the $5 million? No. They pay him almost $5 million to walk away, basically. Hey, keep him till the end of camp. What if you need something from him? And he can play a little special teams too, a little return guy as well. Andrew says, hit the like button. Andrew, you're a smart man. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's wrap it up here. Housekeeping. Working on new stickers. I think, the stickers have been free in the past, and we'll do some free sticker stuff from time to time. I'm thinking like a 4-pack of stickers for $1. Cover the cost of me sending you guys the sticker in the envelope. But we'll see about that. Who knows? Maybe I still do the stickers for free. Hats coming on the way. People want the red one. You have the opportunity for the red one. Some other fun stuff headed your way. We'll be in Cleveland for the Cleveland practices. That's going to be good. Actually booking the Airbnb with Landry Locker here this afternoon, so that'll be a good one. Quick question about Barnett. You see Barnett? Absolutely. He's the third defensive end, really. I mean, he filled in for Anderson. He's the third or fourth defensive end on this team. Autry can kind of play inside and outside, so figuring that out will be intriguing. Houston football, all the writing. Have some stuff at Houston football over the next couple of days that are not practice days. Obviously, have the practice reports, and then plenty of stuff here on the YouTube. So, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the little bell so you never miss anything. So, appreciate everybody jumping in on a Saturday. I am off to the grocery store because I desperately want a BLT, and I don't have any T or B or bread or mayonnaise. I just have the lettuce in my house. So I'm going to go get me some stuff for a BLT and maybe even throw a little avocado on there. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to get the light Italian bread for that. It'll be good. It'll be good. I'll be eating good. I did not sleep good last night, but I'll sleep good tonight. And I'm going to be good. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. It's how we end every live stream here on the show. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching.